happens, something happens, whatever. It's like we can just do audio as well, but it looks like it's sort of going. So anyways, I'm just gonna rattle right into it. We're here with Amy Heff on I'm Here with Magazine podcast style. I'm Patrick, of course. You can, before we get going, amyheff.com is where you can find her, or you can find her at Facebook at Amy Heff Music, or on Twitter at Amy_Heff. So now we got the formalities out of the way. How's it going with you? How are things going?
Good. Just at home, like we're supposed to be, I guess.
How's that been going? Like, I know some artists have been kind of using the downtime to work on material. Other people are just kind of like just checking out and just like dealing with family and stuff like that. How are you looking at things? Like, obviously there's been shows canceled and all that jazz. We don't have to get into that, but how has things been going for you in that regard?
Like, honestly, I've been wanting to set up my home studio for like 6 years, so I finally got that done. I got everything kind of set up to record at home now, and I've been just starting to record a project with multiple people. So it's been interesting and kind of cool to learn that way. And I've been putting out more videos. I think I'm getting my online presence up way more than I ever have for a while. So it's a good way to focus, I guess, and getting it. I'm just actually more focused than I think I've ever been on things. Oh, okay. So it's actually been, yeah.
A little bit of a blessing.
It's so easy to get distracted with, like, I teach, and so by the time you want to do something for other projects, just kind of gets put in the back burner sometimes, because always worried about money. But now everybody seems to be worried about money, so I'm in the same boat as everyone now, so it's kind of nice.
For sure. And obviously no one planned for this to happen, but like you do have a lot of things kind of like that you're going to be releasing and having things come out. So it's kind of like at least you're able to keep busy and you still can stay relevant and stuff like that, right? So you just brought a single not too long ago. It was called "RELENTLESS." That's now. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I did this track with my brother and my friend Steve, who's my bass player. We did this in Las Vegas. I guess we recorded like a year ago now. And it's about voices in my head always kind of trying to shut me down. Of like, I think it's always hard to anything you do, in any kind of passion you have or career, to kind of keep focusing going. And it's about me overcoming those things and just being relentless of my career and what I do and what I love. And that's the kind of idea. And then I did that video with Jordan Gooden in Calgary, yep. And he kind of portrayed that with the double me facing it off with each other, and I love the video that he did, and he really got inside my brain for it. So
cool. Really, yeah. Happy. And you guys just did a little bit of an interview not too long ago. I'm sure viewers can find that on your Facebook, of course. There's probably a link for it. Yeah. That's kind of like ironic how like that kind of the content of that song is kind of like even kind of relating to like now currently, like, being relentless and like keeping going and like trying to stay focused. And like obviously you have a lot of like you said, like you're trying to a lot of distractions and stuff, but you're kind of trying to keep focused. It's like kind of an interesting time for that track to come out. Hey,
it is, right? Yeah, I think it's really relevant right now, and it's I know I'm not the only one going through it, and it's a very I think everybody can kind of relate to that, especially right now, what's happening.
Yeah, for sure. And it's kind of like we're all kind of waiting for things to kind of get back on track, but you have stuff kind of already planned out. May 15th is the next track you've got coming out. It's called Find My Way Home. You were saying that you wrote that about the drop-in center here in Calgary.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
So they contacted me to help them with their campaign, and I came and got a tour of what they're doing, and they're really focusing on ending chronic homeless and getting people home. Mostly they feed, and they're like a multiple kind of things kind of going on, but they're really focusing on the housing part of it, which I think is super important and really cool. And they're really all about kindness and getting people the resources they need to find their way home. And so I wrote the song "Find My Way Home" for them, and to use in whatever campaign they need or to whatever they use. But I right now it's kind of special because obviously this is before COVID-19 happened, and there's a lot of people that don't have homes, and we're supposed to be home right now. So what they're doing is absolutely so important right now. So I really wanted to, I'm glad the song's coming out this May for that. And I hope that I can help build awareness for them and all the, like a whole bunch of other shelters, and just that kind of kindness and how far that really can change someone's life.
For sure. Like, have you always been kind of interested in like that kind of realm of things, like, helping and giving back to to the drop-in center, and like, is that kind of more of a new kind of experience? Like when you went in and got the tour, like what was that all like?
Yeah, obviously it's always been in the back of my mind, but I wasn't really aware of, you're not really aware of it until you're kind of exposed to it, I think, of like last year they fed over 2 million people, or not 2 million people, not 2 million meals, sorry.
Right.
Just that kind of like, you don't really know when you're in your own comfort of your home or doing your own thing day to day of what is actually going on, and like the need of this kind of stuff. And we get busy in our own lives, and there's people that just don't get that luxury, right? So
Right.
it was very eye-opening to me, and it's going to be something that will help for the rest of my life now.
Definitely 100%. And like you're saying too, like it all relates, like everything kind of becomes more like, obviously you wrote this way before the COVID, but like everything kind of comes way more in perspective now that this is kind of all going on. Cause it's like you said, people don't have a home to go to. How are you supposed to, stay home, hashtag, like.
Totally.
So like, yeah. It's super important. And like anyone listening to this, like definitely like that would be one big thing to, like, if you can afford to help out, that's definitely one thing you can afford to help out with, and help out for sure. That's pretty sweet. Do you
underwear like that are clean, like brand new socks, like any kind of thing like that, just to help them, it's a big deal for them. So
okay, cool. Talking about that, that's on May 15th. We don't have to talk about anything that's kind of been not canceled, but I see you've been kind of staying busy doing things. You've done a Zoom, a live Zoom show. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, have you checked out any other bands kind of doing that? And like, did you was that your idea that's like, hey, I should do something? Or?
Well, I did a session with called the Blue Jay Cafe. So it's 4 of us. We were on a Skype call, and then they live streamed it on Facebook through their page. And then after that, I got messages being like, would you be into doing a private Zoom call? So what happens is they contact their friends, and then they tip me while I play for them for however long, usually between like 45 to an hour. And then I'm able to communicate with them, and it's like we're all kind of together, and it's very intimate, and it's kind of a cool way to kind of connect, and also to help support me in this time as well. Like, it's obviously all avenues of money has been kind of taken away from me.
Yeah.
And there's no seen future of when I can play live again or teach. So anything kind of really helps. So it's a really cool experience. I'm glad I've got a nice little setup and can do this. So yeah.
Even without the the pandemic and all that stuff, like, do you think this is something that will continue on after, like, once people are allowed to go to shows and watch shows and stuff like that? But do you think, like, because this is kind of, no one's really done this before, because people just go to the concert, see something, but do you think this is going to be something that kind of continues on, like more artists doing like just interactive shows and like concerts, reaching more of the globe instead of just doing tours and shows? Do you think that's going to be something that catches on, or do you think it's more of a isolated thing?
I think it will. I think this will be definitely like a side. Obviously, once everything kind of gets back to normal, there'll still be that kind of part. But I think this is a cool kind of side thing too. When say you're off the road, or if you don't have any shows and you're just at home anyway, it's a cool way to connect with everybody and stay relevant and kind of do something private and intimate in the comfort of your own living room. And I can't believe we didn't do this before.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what that's kind of what why my comment was. I'm just like, no one's really explored that. Like, I know there's some bigger acts that have gone and done shows that were already going to be produced and then like put them on Facebook, like Iron Maiden did like a Rock in Rio, and they broadcast onto Facebook Live. But like, this is, like you're saying, a way more interactive thing. Like, it's like the online is your audience, rather than like you're playing the show to the people, and then the online people kind of get to sit in their couch and like watch it from a different perspective. This is like way more like, even like you're saying, having a Q&A, I find that like really interesting.
Yeah.
And it seems like it should be really fun. Like, are you going to keep doing that? Are you going to do more of that stuff coming up, or?
So I would like to. Yeah, it's something I didn't realize I'd like so much. Like it is like I really do like the connection of when I play a live show. My favorite thing is connecting to the audience, and this is like the same thing. It's unfortunate we can't hug each other, but obviously that will come. But this is a really cool way to stay relevant and to be working, because I live to play live, and this is it's a cool way to keep that going, so I don't go crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's what the big. That's what it's all about these days. Just not going crazy, right?
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is that is it like did you like do you worry about like is it different like like being on like the screen and just being in your home, like do you like is it different, like not different, but like is there anything like where you're like, oh, do you worry about looking a certain way, or is there any of that sort of stuff that's kind of just you don't really think about when you're just playing on like a show, like because you can see yourself in the screen, like does it trip you out or anything?
Yeah, it's like I'm singing to myself a lot of the times too. Like I'm even like talking to you, I'm like, this is what I look like when I talk. But then like I'll notice like something in my back, like a blanket out. I'm like, oh, gotta go get that out, and then I gotta put that vase away.
Just spot check the living room so you didn't leave anything out that's strange or something, do a whole concert and have like something sitting off to the side. Oh, whoops, I forgot to put that away, or no product placement stuff. You got to put all the brands away and that sort of stuff.
Careful.
Sure. I think you mentioned that you're just getting into recording something with a few other people. Are you doing that? Is that one of the you're all doing it from separate locations and converging together and collaborating that way, or?
Yeah. So oh, sorry, my dog's here.
That's okay.
So it's I'm working on a project where we're taking some of my older songs that I've written and we're turning into a country kind of project. So
okay.
I've fallen in love with the idea of storytelling, and my songs I think have more of a story and more instead of like pop music, which still is going to be pop country, but it's country's about storytelling, and I think that I'll have a home for that. And so we're doing 3 songs right now to get started, and we wanted to do it all together in the same room, but it's not happening. So I'm working with a guy named Dave Temple. He owns MCC Studios here in Calgary, and he's been on the phone getting some amazing players to be a part of this on my demo. Okay. And yeah, so it's just it's in a brand new stage, but we're moving pretty fast and learning a lot. And I think it's going to be really cool and have a kind of a whole new part of me that I haven't been able to really dive into. So I'm really excited about it. I'll still be Amy Heff. I'll still have everything. It's not going to be about a genre. It's going to be about the songs, and I'm excited about just that part of it, which I think is more relevant now than I think it used to be all about the genre. And now it's kind of more getting back to it's about a song. So.
Right. Is that are you talking about like unreleased material that you're reworking, or was this like some of your recent Amy Heff stuff that you're reworking?
Some of it's been like 10 years old, and then some of it will be recently stuff. I got some stuff I'm writing too, but I've got so much material from the past. I've got like 30 songs that I believe in strongly that I think just haven't had the light of day. And so we're working on a few right now, and then I have obviously always writing, but there's people falling in love with these songs that I've had for 10, 12 years, and it's kind of cool to see them be like, yeah, these are good songs. I'm like, I know. Let's get this out here.
Yeah. Well, and like
so it's cool.
Add a little bit more dynamic too, that you don't, like you're saying, you do like it's not necessarily about genre anymore. So it's like, there's not as much pressure as to try something different and kind of rework something and try something new rather than just like, staying in the mold. I find a lot of groups like, once they establish a fan base, they don't want to go too far from the mold, but like, so you end up, turfing a lot of stuff that is really, like you said, like people love these songs and stuff like that, but it doesn't necessarily fit perfectly with your skew. Totally. So it's always nice to kind of broaden your horizons, change it up and shock people a little bit, maybe.
10 years, I don't think it would have been even possible, but I think now with the way everything's going, I think it's kind of got some room for it. And like I said, it's becoming about the songs again, and it's coming down to music and not really putting into a mold or box of like, oh, you have to be here because you sound like this, so it's there's lots of room now, I think, for people to be creative and find their home for that song. And like the next song might be, a rock song. So that's, you got to shape it towards a song. So yeah.
100%. That's really cool. And well, that kind of like transcends right into my next question. Jill, our editor, most of the time she kind of like gears the magazine. She likes to tell people's journeys, and like it's all about like your journey. So like what I was going to ask you is just like when you're looking, is your journey now, like it's just funny that you were just talking about these songs that are maybe 10 years old and now you're bringing them back down. Does that kind of like give you any like kind of retrospect to like when you first began, and like you don't have to go in a long-winded answer, but kind of like what's your kind of take on the journey so far, like to this point, like when you're looking back at kind of your musical journey?
Well, yeah, like the thing is, it's always been about the songs for me, and connecting with people, like the way that we've been talking about me connecting with people on Zoom or private concerts. That's always been kind of my thing. Like I've never really sold my songs. I've never kind of got too far away from me. And I think, you know, I've been in the industry now for I guess like 12, 13 years, and it feels like 3, but it's been a long time. And watching that journey from the start, and it's cool to see the songs that I've believed in so much, and playing live for 10 years or so, that someone can hear it and be like, this is let's give it new life. And I think it speaks volumes to the power of what I've been working on and believing in. You know, they say like a overnight success is 15 years sometimes, and I really hope that overnight success is in that thing. And it's because I have stuck to my guns, and I've believed in my songs, and I've believed in what I stand for, and not got straight too far from that. And I really believe that it's all kind of coming to a head now, and it's making sense of why I've been sticking to my guns for so long. And it's really starting to hit home, you know. So it's an exciting time, I think, for me musically. And yeah, so I'm really excited what's going to happen this next year.
That's pretty cool. Do you have any, like, obviously we're like quite a way out, but like obviously you've got a lot of time spent on this. Were you planning on hitting the road after, like, once things, obviously who knows when that's going to be, but or do you more focused on just the music right now?
Yeah, right now it's about getting this few songs together, and then it will be about getting that heard. So that's going to be about getting out there, and hopefully some opening acts or festivals whenever that opens up, and then of course my club gigs. And yeah, right, as soon as it opens up, I know I'm going to be doing my club gigs right away. Let's open those bars back up. Let's get people out. I don't care.
I was gonna say it's gonna be one.
They're paying me. Let's just get people out and just get people moving again.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be one hell of a party. Like everywhere once this actually, like, it's gonna be like when like the levee is just going to break, and then like the waves are just gonna pour in. In one way, it's gonna be good. In other ways, I'm sure there's gonna be some negatives in that too. But it's gonna be interesting for sure, and we're all kind of waiting for it. But like, it's almost like you're like, people kind of sit around now, and they're like, you know, they get bored and stuff. And it's just like, man, once this like all clears up, you're gonna be so busy. You just like take advantage of being able to, like you're saying, like connect with the music and just enjoy what happens. So
reset.
Cool. And
a forceful reset.
Go ahead.
It's a forced reset right now, right? So we're all being forced to quit.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, my buddy actually said something interesting the other day, or somebody, I was like, you know, about a habit, like it takes 30 days to, like, you know, build a habit or something like that. And we're already 30 something days into this. So it's like, you know, what habits have you like gotten done? You know, it's kind of just an interesting perspective. Like you said, like 13 years sounds like, you know, 3 years feels like it's like a blur. It feels like last week we just started this, and now it's like, you know, it's been a few months, but it's interesting. But just a few more things, and then I'll let you go. One thing I always liked, I stole this from another interviewer friend of mine. I'll give him credit later at some other time, but he always used to ask this, and I always thought it was interesting. It's different because it's different for everyone. So I always just ask, like, you know, what is the best thing about being Amy Half and playing, like, just being Amy Half? Like, what is the coolest, best thing you like about the music Amy Half?
The best thing is my people, like, that surround me, that love me. Like, I have the coolest people around me that really have my back, and I think that's the coolest part. And that makes me cool, I think. But I think the coolest part is the people that have my back, and that always have, like, they're always there for me, and at my shows or musically. I'm very lucky that way. Yeah.
Cool.
Makes sense.
And then I'll just 100%. And that's the thing. Like, it always gets people thinking, and they're like, "Oh, what is the coolest thing?" Because you don't really ever sit there and think about it. Yeah. Because no one likes to brag, but yeah, everyone's got a different way. And then so we'll just kind of end on, like, we'll just let you do the final word. If there's anything you want to say to your fans, to whatever, I'll give you the final go.
Well, thanks for having me here with Me Magazine, and appreciate the interview. Nice to chat with you too, Patrick. I hope everybody stays safe, and we will get through this, and I can't wait to cheers everybody on the other end, and let's have some fun when this is all done. But keep your heads on, exercise, that really helps, and we'll see you soon. Hugs for everyone.
Yeah, multiple X's and O's.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So yeah. Once again, just on hanging out with I'm Here Magazine with Amy Half. Don't forget, you can check out Relentless. It's out now. And also, Find My Way Home comes out May 15th on all music providers. Just